All right, guys, welcome back. It is Punt Factor here, bringing you some Abzan. So I'm trying something very, very different. You guys all know that I love Night of the Reliquary. Absolutely love Green White Value Town. But I wanted to play some more interaction in the way of like Inquisitions, Thoughtseize. I wanted to really open up the Abzan tools that Black has to offer instead of it just being a splash. So I decided to go more of an Abzan mid range. Um, so like Abzan Stoneblade, running Dark Confidants initially. I was trying out obviously Liliana the Veil, amazing card, and I had Lingering Souls. So this was actually um, the initial thing that I started sort of running with. Uh, Honestly, I found it to be subpar. Um, Part of that could be I felt like it was a little threat light. Um, Lily was fantastic, but too often I needed some sort of threat, and I would just draw like a Lily or a Maelstrom Pulse or something, and it was just like I just need something to stick on the board. I also didn't like that Tarmogoyf and Stoneforge Mystic are kind of the two finishers of this build of the deck. And my problem was if someone had Graveyard Hate, Tarmogoyf was gimped, like just completely gimped. And there's a lot of ways to deal with Stoneforge Mystic or to deal with the artifacts. So I just really felt like this version of the deck was incredibly threat light, and I don't think Lingering Souls. I've just never been too high on that card. Um, and it also just didn't really fit my play style. I was so used to playing Green White Value Town and having a lot of creatures um, that it just didn't seem to fit. I mean, I won some games, but it wasn't what I was looking for. So I moved on to the second iteration of the Stoneblade, and I added in a couple Grim Flares. So you see, I went up one Dark Confidant. I got rid of the Lingering Souls. I went up one Bob and then Grim Flares, hoping that it would smooth out my draws. So while I was threat light in my last build, I added in a couple Grim Flares um, to dig me to those threats. And it was really medium. I didn't give this deck build uh, a real go. I probably only played like 5 games or so, so like it wasn't I didn't have extensive like 50 to 100 games of testing. So I'm sure I was playing it very suboptimally, but it still felt like I was running into some of the same issues. And then what I also found was I do not want to see two Dark Confidants in a game. Um, Really ever, unless it gets removed immediately. But a lot of the times that wasn't the case in the few games that I played. I would just have a second Bob just rotting in my hand. And so I don't know. I just wasn't a big fan of this. It just didn't feel that great. And honestly, like, I know Lily is so good. I'm not saying she's not. But I had two issues with Liliana of the Veil in this build. The first issue was obviously this build being threat light, and that just drives me insane. Um, but the biggest one was that she requires two black symbols. Um, and I don't want to say that I was having a hard time getting double black, but I came across situations where I had to shock myself more than I wanted to, just to get the double black and the mana requirements for the rest of the deck. Now I do understand that this is very suboptimal. My mana. I'm not running Blooming Marshes, and this is just sort of overall not the greatest. Um, but obviously, I'm on a budget like everybody else. So, and I wasn't running into that when I get to my last iteration of the deck, which I'll talk about here soon. So, I just still wasn't all that impressed with this version of the deck. So, I built this. And you'll see I have my Knight of the Reliquaries, because I just love that card. Nothing here requires double any color. So as long as I have 3 of my colors, I'm good to go. We still have Goyf and we still have Stoneforge Mystic, only 3. But those are still kind of my big beaters. And then now, Knight is even a bigger beater than, in my opinion, than either of these cards. We have Tireless Tracker to sort of help with the card draw. That plus Knight is fantastic for getting clues. And then I have my couple scuses, and then still Double Dark Confidant. So I played this list probably the most and had the most success with it, and it felt way better than any of the other versions of this Abzan midrange that I dove into. So we're going to take this one through a league. Let me quickly go over it. Very similarly to my Green-White Value Town, I have one Blast Zone, one Bojuka Bog, two Ghost Quarters. That kind of rounds out my utility lands. I wish I could run a third Ghost Quarter, but this is a little more mana intensive. So I don't want to skimp on my colors. So I have two forests and two swamps and one plains for my basics, and that seems to be enough. One Godless Shrine, two Marsh Flats, two Overgrown Tombs, one Silent Clearing, which I would really like if this Silent Clearing was a peatland, but it's not, and I don't have one. I have two Temple Gardens, and I have 7 fetches, 4 of which are Windswept Heaths. I wouldn't mind having one more Verdant Catacombs in one of the Heath spots, but I just don't have the cards online. Moving on to the removal suite, I have 2 Path to Exiles, 3 Fatal Pushes, 1 Assassin's Trophy, 2 Abrupt Decays, and a Maelstrom Pulse. Feels good. It really does. This Maelstrom Pulse is really sweet. I also have one in the sideboard. I like it a lot. I'm running 4 Inquisitions, 3 Thoughtseize. A lot of people are running, 2 Thoughtseize, 4 Inquisitions. I don't know yet. I haven't played this enough. I don't have my hundreds of games in yet. 3 Stoneforge Mystics. Along that, I have, the usual Feast and Famine, Fire and Ice, Batterskull. Just kind of like round out the options there depending on my opponent. I have 2 Bobs, 2 Scavenging Oozes. I have my 4 Goyfs, 2 Tireless Trackers, and 4 Knights. So that kind of that threat density is what I was looking for in my other builds, and I feel like this is a really good good number and good mixture of threats that are that are pressing my opponent. So onto the sideboard. This is still very much a work in progress, but I am running Damping Spheres alongside 2 Stony Silences for the Tron and big mana decks. And then I also have 2 Collector Oofs to double up with the Stony Silences. I did just kind of want to diversify. If I'm playing against a deck that can remove creatures very easily, I like being able to fall back on Stony Silence. I don't know if 4 is the right number of Artifact Hate, but I have it. Obviously in decks like this, not so much this one because of Knight, but big mana decks such as Tron are a little terrifying, so having that Damping Sphere is good. And then obviously against Tron, Stony Silence and Oofs are also amazing. I'm running 2 Plague Engineers, very similarly to my Value Town. I have 1 more Skews in the side, 2 Veil of Summers because before that card's banned, I'm going to run it. 1 Maelstrom Pulse and 2 Gaddock Teagues is kind of what I am churning for in the sideboard. I'm a little light on Graveyard Hate, but I do have the 3rd Skews, and then I always have my main board Bojuka Bog with my Knight. And yeah, the only downside to not running Mana Dorks and relying on Bojuka Bog is sometimes, Bojuka Bogging their graveyard on turn 4 is too slow. Actually, a lot of the times it's too slow. But because we're running so much removal, we are able to remove their threats and then Bojuka Bog them before they come back if we're playing against Dredge or something of that nature. So that is the deck that I'm going to be jamming in a league here. So let's Modern League it up. Modern League, Abzan, Stoneblade, Value Town. And let's see how we do. I have been having success with the deck. It feels really good. Any deck that I play with Knight of the Reliquary in it feels amazing. I think it's just because I love that card so much. It's probably actually making me make poor deck construction design, but that's okay. This hand is obviously not going to be one we keep. All right, so we have... This is a good hand. We have some early interaction and push. We have some threats and we have some card draw. So we're going to keep it. We're going to go ahead and get rid of one push. Raging Ravine, looks like we're against Jund. Go ahead and pass the turn and plan on grabbing a Concealed Courtyard, I believe it's called. Oh, no, Godless Shrine, that's what I meant. Godless Shrine. So we're going to have enough mana. This is definitely Jund. Before it gets ripped out of our hands, let's go ahead and play down the Mystic. It's probably going to get removed, but at least we can get the Feast and Famine in. Obviously, K command is a beating, and that's one thing that Abzan... well, there's quite a few things that Jund has over Abzan at this point. Ren and 6 obviously being the big one. But K command is very brutal in this mirror. Okay, there's a Lily. Get rid of our Stoneforge. And that's fine. Unfortunately, we can't double spell here. It would be nice to. Let's go ahead and play out a Goyf. It's close between Goyf and Confidant, but... I don't feel like right now we need the card draw. So it might smell like a Blood Braid. So kind of why I'm keeping up Fatal Push. We'll also grow our Goyf. Okay, here's a Blood Braid. Let's hope they don't hit a removal spell for Goyf. A Thoughtseize, huh? Yeah. So if they don't remove push, I will push the Blood Braid. Actually, Goyf is... No, I won't, because Goyf is going to be big enough to kill Blood Braid at this point with Thoughtseize. So that's actually really good for us. But I do want to get rid of this Lily. Okay, so they took the Bob. Let's get rid of the Temple Garden, because I will push this Bloodbraid Elf. Yeah, because I want to make sure we get... Whoop. Ooh. A permanent I control did not leave the battlefield this turn. Okay, let's see what we draw here. There's a knight. So let's go ahead and swing at Liliana. Let's play the knight out. If they edict Lily, you know, we might actually get rid of knight here. Yeah. Keep that fetch land open. Let's go ahead and swing. Play a follow-up Goyf here. Gonna be a little bit concerned about Maelstrom Pulse. I don't even know if Junda's playing Maelstrom Pulse. Junda's playing Maelstrom Pulse. Let's see what they're doing. Huh. So I feel like we actually bin Kroxa so we can hold up Fatal Push. And then if they bring Kroxa back when it enters the battlefield, we'll be able to push it. I don't want to give them 2 cards, but it's an Abrupt Decay. Man, that Maelstrom Pulse. They still run it. Good stuff. That's unfortunate. Definitely a punt on my end. I should have played around that. So they have a Thoughtseize in hand as well. Let's go ahead and Abrupt Decay this. Jesus. It's not what we're looking for here. Maybe I should have Fatal Pushed, actually. That was a mistake because they know about the push. So they're probably waiting on playing Kuroxa. And then I could have Abrupticate it. Yeah, that was probably better. Because now they're going to have Kuroxa. And I also don't have a target to kill Lily. Bit problematic. Yeah, we definitely fell behind in this game. Here comes Kuroxa. Yeah, I think we might just be dead. Well, maybe not. Let's not let that attack. This Lily's a problem, for sure. We need to find a clean answer for it. And that is not a clean answer for it. Seven, yeah. I think we're on a 0 outer here. Oh man, we're definitely on a 0 outer. Yep, they're just gonna edict. Okay. That was rough. That was a rough beat. So, going into game 4, let's bring in Veil of Summer. Let's bring in Maelstrom Pulse. Let's get rid of Thoughtseize. I don't mind keeping Inquisition, but I don't like Thoughtseize. Let's bring in the other Skews. And let's go down. I think I've been going down one night. I think we also mulliganed to what, 5 that game. So I feel pretty good about how that shook down. They definitely got ahead, obviously, pretty hard, but we put up a good fight for mulling to 5. I think we did anyway. I don't know. I've been playing so much Magic today. I have no idea. We'll see if we can pick up games 2 and 3. And it might be wrong taking out Thoughtseize on the play. But a lot of the time these games come down to... Actually, most of the time these games come down to card advantage in the mirror like this. This hand I'm definitely going to get rid of. One land is not going to do it for me. God. No. Go into 5 again. And another one lander. Gotta keep it. So let's get rid of Sword of Fire and Ice, and let's get rid of Path to Exile. That way I can just get an Overgrown Tomb off of this and have at least black and green for skews. It's rough. Okay, so what's our opponent have here? Inquisition, K Command, Bolt, Goyf. So we have Fatal Push for the Goyf. K Command's a problem, but the Inquisition's going to be brutal. I feel like we have to take the Inquisition because we had to mull 5. K Command, they're kind of far off of here. The Bolt's unfortunate, but we can kind of play around the Bolt with our skews a little bit. Unfortunately, Bob is... That's what they drop here. Bloodstained Mire. Fortunately, Bob is not able to withstand a Bolt. And no land equals probably lose. It's unfortunate. Just going to go ahead and quickly push the Goyf here. Goyf and Blackcleave Cliffs. Land. Okay. So I actually feel like we play out the skews because I want as much card advantage as I can get. So if they K command us and make us discard, nah, they're just gonna bolt it. We don't have too many good options, to be honest. Yep. Renin 6. Horrible. So now we can no longer play our Dark Confidant. Shit. Huh. Well, we're obviously going to play Bajuka Bog, but now what else do we play? I think we just passed the turn here. And if we find an answer to Renin 6, then we play our Bob out, but I don't see a world where we want to just run our Dark Confidant into a Renin 6. Sure. Now we're going to get rid of Dark Confidant because it just auto dies to Renin 6 here. And then any threat we play is just going to get Edict from Lily. Yeah, we're just out of the game at this point. Mulling to 5 against Jund is just atrocious. Maybe I should have just kept the 6 land, 1 night hand. Sure. At least get the value while we can. Too bad that wasn't a fetch land. Get 2 clues. That's not nice. All right. I'm real close to seeing enough here. Um, oh yeah. Doesn't matter. They're just gonna kill it. So, all right, I've seen enough there. So not a good start to the league, but we'll pick it up in League Match 2, guys. Stay tuned. This is Punt Factor.